So it turns out that I was actually wrong about this figure. Dead wrong. So wrong that I'm doing something I've never done before and rescoring a figure I've already reviewed. Stick around to find out why. Welcome to 5 Points of Articulation. Today, I'm going to be doing something a bit different. In my previous video, I reviewed the DC Multiverse Dawn of DC Red Hood. Unfortunately, I got things wrong. Like, really wrong. In my zeal to get an extra video out, I cut some corners and didn't do my due diligence and research like I should have, and made some educated guesses that were just flat out incorrect. So incorrect, in fact, that I feel like I need to do something I've never done before and go back and rescore it. That's how wrong I was. The ironic part is that by rushing yesterday, today I'm doing this instead of working on a new video, so whatever time I thought I was giving myself, I did not. Like the old saying goes, measure twice, cut once. The reason I know I was wrong is because of your comments, and I just want to say thank you. I don't always get things right, but when I don't, I want to make it right. You guys were helpful, you were informative, and most importantly, you were kind. We have a great community on this channel, and I am very, very thankful for you. Just to be clear, this isn't going to be a complete new review. I'm just going to be making some new observations, addressing what I got wrong, and giving this figure a new score. With all that said, let's take a fresh look at the DC Multiverse Dawn of DC Red Hood. Starting with the packaging, in my opinion on that's pretty much the same. In my original video, I did make a comment about feeling kind of overwhelmed by all the reboots and refreshes like Rebirth and Infinite Frontier and now Dawn of DC, but as one of you correctly pointed out, those aren't really reboots, those are just kind of events and marketing things. Regardless of what you call them though, it is still kind of overwhelming and hard to keep up. Even so, I do still like this box, and for packaging, I'm still giving Red Hood 4 points. Moving on to presentation, and I do have a couple of notes. In my original video, I praised the figure for its detail and texture, and that's absolutely still the case. I might not like this as much as other Red Hood designs, but there are still aspects of it I like. One complaint I saw about the figure was the hair, and I totally get that, but I chose not to comment on it because I don't really think you're supposed to see it. After all, the hood isn't removable. The main thing I want to touch on is the fact that I thought that there wasn't any reuse, and, well, that's not the case. As I suspected, this diaper piece is reuse. If you recall, I talked about how high the trousers are and that I thought that might have been a tell. Normally when the diaper is this high, that's because there's a rubber overlay covering it. After I watched the posted video, it also dawned on me that the fine texture on the pants doesn't actually extend to the diaper, but because the basic seam lines do, it didn't really occur to me. It also only now occurs to me that the pinstripes don't actually continue up the diaper either. Looking at it on your shelf, you'll probably never notice, but now that I know the pants aren't supposed to be that high, it does take me a bit out of it, and now that I've seen this, I can't really unsee it. A couple of you pointed out that the diaper actually comes from the Arkham Knight version of Red Hood, which is ironic because if you remember, I said I was going to do this as verses. Had I actually done that verses, I might have noticed it, and I also might have noticed that the hands are reused as well. For presentation, I originally gave this figure 5 points, but based on those details I now can't unsee, he now gets 4 points. Moving on to Posability, and nothing new to say here. For the most part, all the standard articulation is there. There's just not really a whole lot in the way of forward and back, and the swivel hinge wrists mean we don't get side to side. That said, the diaphragm joint is much better than usual, and we do get thigh cut. For Posability, I'm still giving Red Hood 4 points. Moving on to Playability, and this is where I really missed the mark. Based on this artwork, I incorrectly assumed that Red Hood was supposed to have 2 swords. The fact that he instead came with a katana and a crowbar made me feel like the set was incomplete, but if I had just done a couple of minutes of research, I would have realized that this new version of Red Hood does use a crowbar, and that the promotional images for this figure literally show him displaying it on his back. I can't tell you just how embarrassed I am. I've been wrong about things before, but I don't think I've ever gotten it this wrong. I looked at a box and a card and made assumptions, when really I just needed to do some Googling. For Playability, I originally gave this figure 2 points, but with 2 extra hands and 2 correct weapons. For Playability, I'm now giving him 5. This leaves us with nothing left to discuss but the price. Believing this figure to be incomplete, I actually only gave him 3 points, but the reality is this is still a mostly new sculpt with 4 accessories and only a 20 only $2.99. These days, we don't really see that kind of value for McFarlane unless it's Batman himself. My original total for this figure was $3.6, but upon further evaluation for price, I'm giving Red Hood 5 points, averaging out to a new total of 4.4 out of 5. Again, thank you guys for your comments and for your support and for your kindness. And if you enjoyed this kind of reevaluation and think that maybe there's another figure I've reviewed that I got wrong, let me know in the comments. Maybe we'll do this again. Hopefully though, not because I, messed up. For more Batman-related videos, check out one of these, and until next time, play nice and have fun.